Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. We're here to talk about this exciting thing, which is 5G and new storytellings that may arise from it. 5G is already here. It's a reality. This week, the UK made a massive sailing their national 5G spectrum. Spain did so as well as other countries. So 5G is here, and is expected to be a massive revolution. For discussing about this, we have here this afternoon three highly experienced profiles, such as Juliette Ollier-Larousse, Director of AFP TV, Rob Montgomery, CEO of Visual Editors, and Laurent Lasserre, Managing Director for Europe of Webis. I hope I said the names correctly. So without more hesitation, let's start by sorting out which would be the impact on 5G media. Juliette, we expect video consumptions to shift from long formats to for short edited videos to long formats, long replays, long narratives, multimedia, interactives. So how is AFP dealing with this?
Well, I think 5G and, in fact, all the progress that we can see and expect in connectivity are going to enhance trends that, in fact, we are already living. The fact that there is an increased consumption of images and video images, but not only, also different visual content. What we hope is that this connectivity will be able to give access also to people in regions where they don't have now, because maybe broadband is not good enough. And it's also going to give a big challenge for us, because we are not the only ones who are going to be able to provide the visual content. More content available means also more content that is not produced by journalists, and that's where we need really to stay relevant, to stay original, to stay accurate, and to, in fact, be sure that we keep and we reinforce our footprint on the content that is available globally. So that's why for us, I think we are dealing with that in two directions. One is to really tell more stories and give longer formats, narratives that allow the newsrooms to produce their own stories with our videos. And the second is to really develop live coverage, because there is a strong also need of knowing what's happening on the spot. Not only maybe one live feed, but sometimes several feeds to give a different perspective on the news. And for example, I have a picture I wanted to share with you, because that was on the day of the fire of Notre Dame in Paris. And in fact, it is our control room, and you see 4 feeds, and the 4 feeds are showing Notre Dame for 4 different perspectives. One in front, one in the back, one with an official explaining what's happening, and the last one with some firemen going and trying to assess the situation. And all the 4 feeds were broadcasted live at the same time, because we have this connectivity, and it's what we hope to be able to do more and more in the future with 5G, for example.
All right, thank you very much. Laurent, do you think online platforms will increase their video contents thanks to the 5G revolution?
So yes, I definitely agree with Juliette. Online platform, publisher, media will definitely need to answer the need for more content. So they will create live content, long-form content, but also short-form content. We still believe that short-form content will be important and will increase, at least to be sometime a teaser for long-form content. You know, teaser on social network, for example, short video bring you to read a full article or longer video. But what we think also is that really the publisher and media will need to create a video adapted for each consumption. You don't expect the same experience on the publisher website, on an app, and on the social network. And all the different social networks are different type of formats, like Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. So they will really need to cope with this need of having a customized experience for each device and each platform.
Rob, it seems that all of this is expected to have a major impact over live video interconnectivity. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think, you know, it remains to be seen, but obviously the first use case looks like lives and augmented reality with lives, multicams, things that right now require so many extra multi-SIM cards and a live view pack to get the bandwidth. We can see that that might be resolved with more mobile communications that are going to happen with 5G. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. This would lead to our next topic, which is one of the most important tonight for us, this afternoon, sorry, which is the visual mobile journalism. So imagine only 10, 15 years ago, any given journalist would have to take care only for their notes. So any given day for a journalist would be to, for instance, go to a press release in the morning, go back to the newsroom, write the note, that was it. Journalists instead have become extremely transmedia. So these with the 5G, probably it will be boosted. Rob, you have a very strong experience on this. How do you think newsrooms are going to be prepared for what's coming?
Well, that is the question. You know, just because things are faster and more connected and more channels and more options challenges how good we are at the fundamentals of reporting with the world's most powerful reporter's notebook. How do we answer the 5 W's and the H, who, what, why, where, how, with our reporters in the field? That the challenge to me is not tech anymore. It still remains. This is a slide from 6, 7 years ago, Bertrand. I don't know, in Paris, the smartphone was your newsroom. You invited me to speak. I've resurrected that slide because it's still relevant. So while we can get caught up with technology discussions, I think if we're going to meet those challenges, we have to always be focused on these fundamentals. Does everyone in our organization know how to do basic reporting with a phone? Answer the 5 questions, send a picture if the alien ship lands outside, then do video, you know, and then build on top of that knowledge with a common language and a common foundation so that you have specialist teams that can do lives, that can do Mojo, Ninjas, and then on top of that, you have specialists who can do everything, write, shoot, edit, file, and everything from the field. So those are your crisis reporters. Look, that slide is relevant because of the research we've been doing. Let me just show you one little experiment. What if you had 12 reporters and you said, I only want you to tell stories over the next 3 days with this? Well,
let's look at an example of what 12 reporters can do covering one event using just their smartphones. I had the chance to do this in Perugia, and I dubbed my reporters the 12 Mojo Ninjas.
what happens when you bring 12 Ninja Mojos from France to Italy to cover the International Journalism Festival?
And what we found out is something I'm going to share with you as a link to their final report. I was their professor, I was their editor-in-chief. We had 3 days, and we had basically 4 teams, maybe 5 teams of ninjas going out in pairs, or 2 or 3. And they experimented with so many different ways to do mobile journalism. So I want you to look at their report. I know it's in French, but just study the visuals and try to see how brave they were every day, just telling their stories in visual reports with their phones.
Aux Champs-Élysées. Aux Champs-Élysées. Au soleil, sous la pluie, à midi ou à minuit, il y a tout ce que vous voulez aux Champs-Élysées.
You want to be ready for the future for 5G? Hire my students. Those are my second-year students. They're at the second level on the pyramid. They've already had my training on the basics in their first year. So these are just some research examples. Because this literacy comes down to basically 10 story forms that I've found that every journalist should be familiar with. They don't have to be expert at all of them. Every editor-in-chief, every assigning editor needs to know these basic story forms. Because then you can have much more intelligent and nuanced conversations about how you plan coverage. You don't overburden reporters. You don't make unrealistic expectations about how they're using their reporter's notebook. Let's look at a small news organization in Austria, in Western Austria, a very small newsroom at Rus Media. They use a small set of that to do Mojo. So let's just get the input there from the editor.
Hello, my name is Pascal. I'm the head of video and chief reporter of VOLAT, the leading online news portal in Western Austria, doing Mojo and online reporting for about 11 years now. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, well, we're using all the Mojo use cases. There are mainly 3 cases we use Mojo work. First of all, it's the live streaming, which is becoming more and more important for our reporters because we are fast. We get the information transferred to our consumers on the fly. There's not a lot of work to do. You just pick up our iPhone, put it on a stand, press the button, and you're going live. Fire and forget solution. Second one is breaking news events. Of course, our reporters out in the field can send over pieces of video and photos directly to the people in-house, so it can be transferred and edited right in the office. And third and last use case we have is that our reporters go out in the field, make the interviews, make the press conferences and stuff like that, cut the videos on the iPhone or on the mobiles, and upload it and finalize or finish the whole work wherever they are.
So, 3 quick ways to use Mojo in a small newsroom. Because the complexity with the technology and the story planning, you really have to tailor your application to your market, to your audience needs, to your newsroom capacity. These are just some questions to get you started on your customized journey. Use design thinking workshops with your journalists to answer these questions for what you want to do. Because if what you want to do are kinograms, which means silent movies, which has been around in cinemas telling the news for 80 years, you used to go to the theaters, you need to know some basics. Like if you want to do a video and repurpose it for vertical and you want to have silent text over video, you need to film in 4K, you need to use center framing, and you need to use steady shots. There's 3 quick tips for you. There's more at the links in the presentation. But basically what I'm focused on are how well we do these fundamentals so that whatever permutation comes in warps the fabric of space-time, like 5G or Starlink satellites going up and putting 11,000 high-speed communications satellites around the Earth over the next few years. Whatever those things come, but we're ready for it because we have a good conversation and we have a team under us that can do everything from simple reporting to specialized reporting to filmmaking that can be screened at international film festivals. This is one of those.
I have never been ice swimming before, and I would never have imagined that I would do something like this. Actually stepping into the ice pool was a crazy experience where you sort of get this kind of oceanic feeling and sensation of being one with nature. And also all the endorphins released. I actually thought I might faint or pass out. And then you watch all the Finnish people, you know, they just dive in, go for a swim maybe every day, and then back into the sauna. It's inspiring. Then afterwards you can have a swim in the warmer pool and surrounded by all the fog and people swimming and watching the beautiful light of the sky in Helsinki, especially watching the sunrise. Gives you a spark and kind of prepares you to go out and take over the world.
That's it from my side.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. We are very short on time, so let me go straight to this, Laurent. One of the things that may arise after 5G is that we are going to have new players, most probably. So what will be the role for tools such as Webis for media?
we think that automation or tools like Weebits can help in several ways. The first one, you can create a video faster. It's very important to, when there is a breaking news, to be able to have a video posted in few minutes instead of a few hours. So we can help a large publisher to gain time. We can also help them to adapt all the content for each platform and each device. When we launched Weebits in 2011, the idea was to have a video format of an article. So this is what we see here. So it was back in 2011, the fact that to be able to read an article for a mobile experience. Then in 2014 or 15, we were among the first to launch the vertical format at the same time as Snapchat, to have a snippet. So we really need to adapt the content to each device. More recently, with the Daily Mail in the UK, we helped them to create video for Amazon Echo Show. So each time we help them to go faster and to adapt their content to each of the device and each platform. Finally, with automation, it becomes super easy to create a video. And so it's not only the video team that create video. You can have a social network manager, journalist, writer that can really start to create video and to answer the need for more video, and tools like Weebits can help to do so.
That's very interesting indeed. That's probably...
And just maybe there is a video. Yes, just 80% of our users are non-video specialists. It can be even marketers or communication team, and we enable them to tell their story through a video. So what is interesting about the video is not so much the video itself, but the fact that it has been done by a non-video specialist, people without any video background, and it's super easy to do it with Weebits.
All right, thank you very much. This is very interesting. That probably we're going to discuss about one of the things that may arise after it is that the content, the volume of content will boost, but actually that kind of tools are going to be very, very important indeed. So Juliette, everything is about to to change. So how newsrooms should train their staff for what's coming, given your experience? How do you think newsrooms should prepare their journalists for the change?
Well, I think the fact that mobile has arrived and has been now so strong in our everyday life and in our everyday practice, professional practice, is really a major change, in fact, and a major opportunity to provide what Rob explained, the visual and multimedia culture in the newsroom. And at AFP, it is something that we had already built previously to the smartphones, because our teams really work closely together, because also we had already started to develop a video production by photographers with the photo cameras. So we had already, some experience. But the fact that now every AFP journalist is equipped with a mobile phone gives us a huge opportunity, which we had to kind of think what we want to do with it, because at the same time we believe in specialization. We think that to have quality content, you also need to do what you do and do it well, so you can't all the time do everything at the same time, otherwise you are not going to provide quality. But at the same time, in some cases, the fact that just you are there and you can catch some images that we are going to lose if you don't catch them, we want to take advantage of that to train our newsroom. So let's say we do have 200 or 300 video journalists, but we have 1,600 journalists all around the world in 200 bureaus. And we also have non-journalistic staff who also, in fact, can be involved in this, because when there is a breaking news, we've seen that, for example, during an earthquake in Mexico City, all the staff of the office took videos and sent videos, which allowed us to have a great coverage of the earthquake. So what we've been doing is that we've been defining, in fact, circumstances in which it is really part of everybody's job to take the first images, whether photos or video with their smartphone. So that's when you are alone in a very important breaking news. I mean, you just take the image, you need to take your smartphone and use it horizontal because most of our clients want horizontal images. But outside of that, there is not much. And so we've been then starting to do training in all our offices and also editorial discussions, so that when the breaking news happens, people already know what they have to do, they know what they need to shoot, they know to which email they need to send the information, they know with what application they need to transfer the images. And so, in fact, it is not something that is so complicated, but it's something that's getting more and more in the everyday life of our journalists. And for example, we spoke about Notre Dame before. The first video we sent actually to our clients about the Notre Dame fire was a video taken by a text journalist who was on his way back home, and he was just on the bridge and he saw Notre Dame fire. And because we've been talking a lot about that, because we've been training people, he knew what to shoot and he knew also where to send it, and we could have it and send it. So this is really a very big opportunity. I just want to show, if I have maybe 2 minutes, just type of images. For example, there's an earthquake in Hong Kong, and we had the possibility to have, in fact, shots from all around Hong Kong, because everybody in the office, everybody was blocked home, but everybody filmed bits of videos from their neighborhood, from their places, and sent them to the hub, and we were able to have a wide coverage. For example, there we have a single reporter. Our Prime Minister is going to talk about the yellow vest, and in fact to announce that we are going to drop this tax that has been triggering the movement. But we don't have enough video people to have them with this group of yellow vests, so we have a text journalist with a mobile phone, and she's embedded, and she's doing a great job also, being with them and following up how they are going to react to this announcement.
Et puis pour le moratoire, on n'en veut pas en fait. Si nous on veut des choses concrètes maintenant. Voilà.
Il y a une avancée, c'est déjà bien. Mais je pense qu'elle ne va pas être assez conséquente.
And then the mobile phone started to be so much, in fact, used in the newsroom that also video journalists started to embrace it, because at the beginning there was a little bit of reluctancy, because, okay, we are pros, we use real cameras, and the smartphones are not for pros. But, for example, the Yellow Vest movement kind of showed also to our video journalists that they can achieve different perspectives and different content type with their smartphone. For example, here we are on a bridge, so there is fighting on the bridge, and we are very far away with a wide-angle camera, broadcasting live, obviously. But we cannot really see what's happening on the bridge. So we have this other journalist, video journalist as well, with her smartphone, and she's just in the middle, and she's broadcasting live also from the place. So our client gets the two different feeds, the one with the wide angle and the one with a smartphone in the middle. So, it's okay, this one. Okay, then that one also, if it's in Egypt, and our VJ arrived, and because he wanted to send very quickly first images, he first takes the smartphone, sends the first images, and once this one is out, he can take out his camera and do a proper video reporting with the big camera. And then on the pyramids, he doesn't have the approval to shoot on the pyramids, so goes back with the smartphone. So that's...
Thank you very much. From my perspective, and I'm sure for yours as well, this is very, very interesting. Let me say very briefly that we in Alice were in Hong Kong for the typhoon as well. We did the first stand-ups with a smartphone, and we learned a lot. I won't lie to you, with good and bad experiences. But we have barely 5 minutes, but at this point I really like to approach that the fact is that we really don't know exactly what's going to happen with the 5G. We know that there's going to be new things. For instance, the Internet of Things. There are probably going to be machines that are indeed going to provide information. That's something absolutely new. So we can expect new players, new needs, and new risks as well. So in this sense, Laurent, what do you think we can expect from the future once 5G is completely established?
No, what we have seen that every journalist can have his own video footage. As we have seen, it can be also a local newspaper, it can be even UGC, but also everybody can be a video editor with automated tool like a Weebit. So what we will see is more smaller publisher or niche publisher, brands, UGC, being able to create and edit their own video content. And we will see also that this video content will be more and more customizable, even for one person. We have a publisher, you want to be able to send a video specifically to you. The video will start by, hey, Rob, this is your content today. So from one TV broadcaster to million viewers, we will be almost one-to-one. One video editor, individual, will be able to create a video for one specific person. So this is the trend, but we really go in this direction. For the video creation. And maybe the other trend that we see also is that with all the data that are collected by the IoT device in-house and everywhere, these data are structured data, and with fully automated solution, we are able to transform this data into a video, for example, for the weather or other applications. So it could be a huge volume of video created thanks to that.
Okay, thank you very much. Interesting. Rob, do you think all the content boosted by 5G, for instance, all the data that we're going to have, or the video content that's going to be provided by that new players, are all of that going to be transferable to smartphones?
Well, I think that's where it looks like where it's starting and ending, and in between you're going to have IoT and data. I think it's how we manage the data that helps news consumers solve problems or understand the news better and be able to act on it. I think it still comes back to fundamentals. Technology is an accelerator. It creates new opportunities. It's up to us to figure out the best way to use those and make the right experiments.
Okay, thank you very much. Juliette, what new things do you think we can expect from your perspective, from a global news agency such as AFP with the 5G? I'm thinking on international operations, for instance. I'm sure that will, as you briefly have said, what do you think we can expect after the 5G?
I don't know if it's going to be after or at the same time, because I think all those evolutions are becoming more or less all together. And I think one major development element for us is data visualization, which is something that is also really strong and opening a lot of perspectives. And something else also in terms of innovation, on which we've put a lot of strengths and hope, and which I think is really great in terms of visual content, is in fact the possibilities given by the drones. Before, we used to have to hire a helicopter and try to do aerial views with noise, with movements, and I mean it was very expensive and not such a good result. Now with the drones, it's opening up also with a lot of new perspectives of coverage and of showing what's happening. So that's something that's I think really exciting for us, and it's also something that combines in fact photo and videos, because when you operate a drone and you take images, you take at the same time photos and videos, which is really good from a multimedia perspective. So maybe I just wanted to show you a small video with just drone images that we've been taking in the last couple of months or something. Let's see if it's going to work, but no. Otherwise, I can show it on my computer.
Nicolas, is the last slide, which is a video. Do you have it somewhere over there? It's actually very interesting. Yeah, yes. This one. Thank you very much. Very, very impressive. So drones with 5G connectivity, no one knows what can we expect from that.
This is what we want to try. We want to try live coverage from a drone, but that's, I'll let you know about that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we still have 4 minutes. I'd like to give way to the public in case you wanted to ask anything to our speakers. So questions on the floor. Do we have any question? Yep, there's a hand over there. I don't know if, yeah, thank you very much. No success so far. Yeah, sure,
Okay,
maybe,
sure.
yeah. Indeed.
Carriers of the
Better that way, definitely. Can you please repeat?
All right, so how do you cope with reluctancy or fear from other professions that become obsolete, such as cameramen, for example, or sound technicians? Because when you give a journalist a mobile phone, then that's the end of all other professions. So how do you cope with that?
That's a good question. Probably all of you could say something about it. You from the agency perspective, you from the maybe that people that is not professional are going to be able to do great videos now. And Rob, your experience as well is very interesting here.
Why don't we start with AFP,
Juliette?
I think, because you have so many more of those specialists, yeah?
I mean, I think what we explain, for example, to video journalists who can be sometimes afraid that with a smartphone they are going to lose their uniqueness or their specialty, is that in fact you don't get the same result, you don't work the same way, and the two ways of covering are really complementary. And I think that before maybe it was difficult to understand, but for example, for us, the Yellow Vest movement has really helped us explain that to the video journalists. And actually now we have some video journalists who even are doing the trainings for the other ones to teach them how to film with a smartphone, which shows that they are confident that it is not something that is going to exclude them, but it's going to just help us get a better coverage altogether. But they still have their specificity. They still bring a lot of things. For example, if you want to shoot at night, if you want to have quality images, if you want to do long interviews, and etc., you need real video journalists with the specialty, and also who are only doing that and not trying to cover on different mediums at the same time.
1 minute.
Yeah, and just with automation, it's true that at the beginning people were very worried about losing their job, but really what we explain is that we are here to make them more efficient, to help them for the very tedious task, and to focus on really the more added value task at each step of the video creation. So it's not, we're not here to replace them, but to make their life easier, and so they can create more on top of what they were doing before. So now it's more accepted.
Yeah,
Rob?
just finally, I mean, there was a lot of resistance at the beginning, you know, oh, it's not good enough, the engineers said this, then the cameramen felt threatened, and now I think more enlightened broadcasters realize it's a layer, and it's a very important layer. It's your first responder in your pocket. It's a way to promote literacy across your organization about how we tell visual stories, and it can do certain things better and faster and save your camera reporters' backs when they don't need to carry bigger gear.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm afraid we don't have more time. I hope this speak was interesting to you. We're going to be around all these weeks, so I'm sure we'll be happy to answer any further questions. So thank you very much. Yep.
German Rob, friends,